Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to another episode here on Jets Media. And we got everybody in the house. We got Greenbean, Ryan from Jets Talk, Matt O'Leary, Jack, and Ali. And we're going to dissect the New York Jets draft. As we know, it is all wrapped up. We got 10 new draft picks and 12 new undrafted free agents. So, guys, we got a lot to get into. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button on your way in. And please do not forget to subscribe to everybody's channels. They're all down below in the description. As you guys know, we put out a lot of Jets content, and we try to bring you guys as much as we can. And shout out to everybody joining in the chat. It's a great time to be a Jets fan. I feel like we can all agree that the vibes are good. Everything's new. I don't think I've ever felt this much change for the Jets, whether it's from the top to the bottom, the front office, the coach, the quarterback, the players. Damn. I mean, how are you guys feeling? Greenbean, I'll start with you, man. How you feeling? Just in general, like how
you mean?
How was your weekend?
How am I feeling?
Yeah, we're not going to get into the draft yet.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you asking that. I'm doing okay, Richie. I really am. I'm settling into a whole new place. I'm up here in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Gonna ride some roller coasters. I rode a coaster on the way up, so I'm coming down from the draft. I feel great. Thank you.
I love that. I want to make sure I ask how you're doing. I always appreciate you, Greenbean. So now we're going to get right into the draft talk, okay? No more asking how everyone is doing, even though I love everybody else but Greenbean, right?
Right.
So, Jack, I want to hear your thoughts of the overall draft. And we're going to get deep into the steals, what we don't like in each individual player. But, Jack, just give me your overall thoughts and give me like a letter grade of the full draft class, not including the undrafted free agents.
First off, pleasure to be with all you gentlemen tonight. And yeah, in terms of the draft, I give it a strong A, man. I really do. I think that, the three words that come to my mind when I look at our draft class is athleticism, versatility, in terms of the defenders that we took. And the third one, which I think might be the most important one or the best one for Joe Douglas's sake, is value. I think that we hit all these draft picks exactly where, we in the first round, we moved up. We grabbed the guy who's been at the top of all of our boards for forever now, in vera-tucker. So I was super hyped about that. Honestly, more hyped than I was about Wilson, just because we all knew Wilson was coming. And, as soon as we get that notification that we traded up, we all knew who was coming off the board for the Jets. So that was super hype. In terms of our defenders, I feel like we got a lot of versatile, kind of chess piece type of players. You throw them in the box, throw them in coverage, put them as a, an outside linebacker. I just feel like, after going offense, we were like, wow. They are super committed to, revamping this total offensive unit, which they did with those 4 picks. I mean, they used their premier picks in the draft on rebuilding this offense. And then Joe Douglas gave Robert Saleh a lot of toys to play with. And I'm super excited to see, what happens moving forward. We got rookie mini camp coming up. And then we got, obviously as the months progress, we'll get into training camp. And I just cannot wait to see where this team is at come football season. I just couldn't be more excited. I think this is my favorite draft in a long, long time. I think this was Joe Douglas really hit it.
This truly is the Jet Eye Council. Shout out to Star Wars. I love it, Eddie. Appreciate that. Yeah, guys, I'm excited to hear all your thoughts, and shout out to everybody in the chat. I hope you guys are joining in and enjoying your time to discuss the New York Jets draft class, because we got a lot to get into. So, Ali, want to give us your overall thoughts and a grade, and we'll go around the table and start off with that.
Yeah, I would give it a A-, man. I really they nailed it. I don't want to be too optimistic getting an A because they have not hit the field yet. So I'm not going to be too optimistic, but man, we finally have guys that know what football is, how to build a football team, and finally getting a rookie quarterback and developing him correctly and surrounding him. And that was, you use your 4 major picks on offense and getting talent around your quarterback, which is huge. especially for a guy that has a lot of adversity coming out of college from talent-wise, and all this stuff with competition, all this stuff's going on with him, and especially in New York. I mean, if you succeed in New York, you are legendary. So, I think he hit it. I mean, I don't want to be too optimistic. I mean, I got yelled at a couple of times from followers saying that I'm being too optimistic. But man, like, what else do you got? I mean, the Jets
Hard not to be.
We haven't been optimistic in 2 years because we had Adam Gase as our head coach. This is the first time that a fan base is actually reunited. We liked our draft picks. We liked everything they're doing. We liked the energy that they have in these draft call videos that they've been posting on Twitter. Everyone's hyping them up. I mean, Robert Saleh, and you see the connection between Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas, even the ownership is there and having a blast. So it's good to see this energy coming out of Florham Park. Even Connor Hughes on his thing was like, everyone is hyped up in that organization right now. And all his sources are going crazy over there. So I'm loving what they did in this draft, and just hopefully it works out.
Yeah, right. Let's hope. So, Matt, let's hear your thoughts of the full Jets draft class, not including the undrafted free agents. We'll get into them later on, and give us your letter grade.
Yeah, totally. I'm with you guys. I thought it was a great draft from Joe Douglas. They hit on a lot of needs, and there were some surprises in there. I think I'm at an A- also. I just don't want to give a full A. There were a couple things where I was a little surprised with, which I'll get into in one pick that I didn't really like and I can't really be convinced on. One, I think we got to start with trading up for Elijah Vera-Tucker. Ballsy move, but when you have the draft capital that you have, you do it. Like, would you rather have those 2 third-round picks or a player who is top 10 on their board and someone who I believe could be an all-pro caliber offensive guard for this team for the next 10 years? And I thought the next 2 picks as well, Elijah Moore and Michael Carter, the running back, were aggressive kind of plays. Usually we don't see that kind of philosophy from the Jets. I figured they were going to go on the defensive side of the ball on night 2, but instead they go with the dynamic weapon for Zach Wilson, and they go with a running back who probably shouldn't have been on the board at that point. As for the defensive guys, I think maybe they reached a little bit on Sherwood and Michael Carter II. I thought it was maybe a touch early for them. And I really was not a fan of the Jonathan Marshall pick to round it out. I'm not going to go nuts over a 6th rounder, but I just thought it was a little redundant to draft a defensive tackle there. But I think the best value on day 3 is with Nasruddin from FSU. I think he could come in and play right away. And I know that's lofty expectations for a 6th round guy, but I think his athleticism is off the charts. And I'm excited to see these guys on the field. I think it was a home run draft from Joe Douglas for real.
Yeah, man, there's a lot to be excited about with this draft class, whether it's the offensive weapons or the toys that Rob Saleh gets. So, Ryan, what's your overall thoughts of the draft class, and what's your letter grade?
So I guess I'll go. I don't want to say A-. I'll say B+. I mean, I think that's a cop out because it's basically an A-. But I just didn't want to be the same as those guys.
Give it an A.
I'll give it an A. It's different than I would have done myself. Like, if I was gauging a draft and how I would want to address certain positions, it's like, okay, quarterback, trade up for the guard. That's fine. I love it. I think it's a great move. And then when we got to pick 34 and pick 107, I probably, in my mind, I would have gone different needs. Like, I would have gone maybe cornerback or edge rusher, maybe a linebacker, somewhere along those lines. But I can see the philosophy that Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh had, and I'm okay with it. It doesn't faze me whatsoever. I think seeing what we saw out of Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Mark Sanchez, where you lose all your weapons over so many years, to just go all in on offense, and really this team's only going as far as Zach Wilson takes us. So if we decide, hey, we're going to put him in the best position possible this year, and not that we're punting on the season, but we're going to when I'm looking at this roster, I'm expecting a lot of offense on our side, lots of offense on the opposing team side, where we're going to have to score a lot of points. So Zach Wilson's going to have to throw the ball, because we're not going to have the cornerbacks. We're not going to have the, maybe the linebacker depth that we otherwise would have had. But I think it's fine. I think that's good. You have 2 first-round picks next year. You have 2 second-round picks next year, so you can address some of those key areas. As far as the trades go, I definitely like the Elijah Vera-Tucker one. I know it definitely hurt losing those 2 third-round picks, and to sacrifice, probably that cornerback, that edge rusher, that linebacker that you would have otherwise got. You're getting the best guard in this class, and you're protecting your young quarterback, because the key thing is quarterback's got to be standing up straight. We saw it with Sam Darnold. It just didn't work out because he had constant pressure on him all the time. So I really like that trade. I thought that was good. Late round pick, I have to go with Matt as well on the Nasruddin. I think that's a really interesting pick. I think he definitely has some potential to start. I do think that we're looking closer to like a 4-2-5 as opposed to like a 4-3 like we were kind of expecting. I think we won't have to worry too much about our linebackers unless we start getting injuries and things like that. Still more work to do. I would say my overall grade would go up to an A based on, undrafted free agency, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But overall, I really like this draft. I think Joe Douglas, through his first 2 drafts, has done better than any GM that I've seen since I've been alive. So I'm really happy with where this team's headed.
Yeah, me too, man. And I'm excited to hear what Greenbean has to say. Greenbean, what's your letter grade for the Jets draft class? And what's your overall thoughts of all 10 draft picks?
Well, I'm hoping that you guys can hear me. If you can't at any time, just tell me and I'll stop. But I think it's a solid B+. I can't give it an A because, like Matt said, I really don't love the defensive tackle pick. I'm not going to cry about it or anything, but I also don't like the Pinnock pick as well. But other than that, man, I think, as far as the trade goes, we've seen Joe Douglas acquiring picks and kind of playing, like Ryan said, I think it was defense. And it was interesting to see him make such an aggressive move. And even though I love my 3rd-round picks, and it bothered me at first, the truth is that if vera-Tucker ends up being a Pro Bowl guard, we're never going to think about those 3rd-round picks again. It's not going to be a big deal. Nobody remembers that stuff if the guy's a good player. And I think the way I like to look at things is, would I have traded Jamal Adams for a potentially Pro Bowl guard and a 1st-round pick? And the answer is yes. I would do that every day of the week. I liked a lot of the other picks. I like the top 4 being essentially almost guaranteed starters. Like that, to me, if you come out of a draft with 4 bona fide contributors, it's a solid draft. And when you look at our top 4, I think that we have a very good chance to see that. And then guys like Michael Carter II or Nasruddin, those guys are going to contribute. Nasruddin, even after the injury, which took away a lot of his 2020, was still projected to be a 3rd-round pick. So the fact that he was there in the 6th, I absolutely love that they got him there. He's this year's Bryce Hall as far as value goes. But yeah, man, I think the last 2 drafts are really amazing for Jets fans because we haven't seen anything like this. A steady progression, an addition of athleticism, like I was saying, versatility. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're adding versatile athletes that love the game of football, high character guys. I mean, I have stories in all my research about some of the undrafted free agents to get into, but it's like these are top tier people that love the game. And I don't know how you could be upset with it. Like I said, I can't give it an A just because there are some pieces I don't like, but those things are minor. So we're looking at an 89 on the test for me.
I love it. I love it. So, guys, I posted a video of my draft grades yesterday. So, for those guys that watched the video, my grade is an A-, ironically enough. But I'll give you guys my little overall rundown. I just love that the New York Jets, the one draft that we select a rookie quarterback in Zach Wilson, we follow it up with 3 straight offensive players to protect him and to give him playmakers. And if you dive deep into the draft and the value that we got with Elijah Moore and Michael Carter, it's honestly insane. Elijah Moore was someone that I anticipated to go in the top 25, especially in the first round. We got him at 34. And then Michael Carter, I heard an interview from Joe Douglas today. He said that Michael Carter would have been the pick at 66 if they did not trade up. So that tells you how high they are on Michael Carter, and it also tells you how much value we got by getting him at 107 instead of 66. Obviously, we gave up 66 for the Elijah Vera-Tucker deal, so we essentially traded up to get the best interior offensive lineman in the draft that we're pairing up with Mekhi Becton, and now we don't have to look at that left side of the offensive line, hopefully for the next decade, because those 2 players have that Pro Bowl potential. And then you get a guy like Elijah Moore, who is not just a wide receiver. He's also a running back. He can do the jet sweeps. He can go in motion. He can go all over the field. He's so versatile. His footwork is insane. His speed is next level. His football IQ is something very underrated. I watched so much film on Elijah Moore last night, and I came away with it with a mind-blowing feeling. I'm like, holy, this guy has first-round talent all over him, and we are so lucky to get him at 34. And the Jets were so shocked. I mean, you guys heard Robert Saleh on the phone with him saying, Elijah, let's go. Like, Robert Saleh is like, holy, how did we just get this guy? And even Mike LaFleur, I think Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas were saying that Mike LaFleur was like freaking out at the end of the first round, saying like his eyes were on Moore the whole time. Like, I can just picture the anxiety in their minds. And especially in the third round too, they said that the third round was so long because they did not have any picks and they were just staring at Michael Carter, hoping he did not get picked. And hey, he slides into the fourth round and we got a playmaker, Michael Carter, who I think is a top 5 running back in the league. And a lot of people, when we went into day 2, some Jets fans wanted us to get Javonte Williams at 34. And honestly, I said I would not want Javonte Williams because me personally, I think Michael Carter fits the system a little better. So I prefer to maybe target him in day 3 if he slides. And that's exactly what happened. And we get Elijah Moore. So I love that their mindset was, okay, the front half of this draft, we're giving Zach Wilson the opportunity to get protected and have playmakers that he can develop with. And then the 6 draft picks following that, it's all Robert Saleh's toys, versatile linebackers, safeties. It felt like 4 straight picks were safeties because NFL Network and ESPN were labeling them as safeties. And we're like, what's going on, guys? How many safeties do we need? But then you read into it and they're linebacker hybrids, they're slot corners, they're free safeties. They can play all over the place. And that's Robert Saleh's defense. You know, they're not a cornerback. They're not safeties. They're football players. And that's this generation of football in the NFL. You need to be versatile. You need to be a Swiss Army knife. And I feel like for Joe Douglas, they get a guy like Jamien Sherwood, who I think is a hard-hitting physical back that's going to line up in the box and can play that Jamal Adams role for us. And then a guy like Nazeldine, who is crazy value. Michael Carter II, I think, is a very slept-on part of this draft class. He's very fast. He can play free safety. He can line up in the nickel. He is blazing speed. And the one thing that I noticed all throughout this draft class that everybody has in common is their athleticism. They're freak athletes, and they have crazy 40 times in verticals, and they all love football. How many times have we heard Saleh and Douglas prioritize character, prioritize their love for the game? And that's what Saleh got asked about the draft class. He said, hey, man, we brought in a lot of players in free agency, and then we brought in a lot of players in the draft. The one thing that's in common with all these guys is they have high character and they love to play football. So that's something that, you know, you can expect, you can assume like, oh yeah, you play football, you obviously love it, but that's not true. There's a lot of players in the game that they get the contract and they feel satisfied and they're just doing it for their job. But other players, they love the game. They live, breathe, and die and sweat football. So that's the type of players that we're bringing in, and hopefully we're building a culture. So I give it an A- as well. If you guys want to see my in-depth breakdown, make sure you check out that video. I love having all you guys on this channel. I just want to say quickly, I appreciate Greenbean, Ryan, and Matt to take time and join our show that Ali, Jack, and I do every single week. This is awesome. It feels like we got a super team of Jets content creators on here, which is awesome. And I got a super chat from Eddie asking, who's your favorite undrafted free agent? Mine is Kenny Yeboah, tight end out of Ole Miss, and that's who the next segment we're going to get into is the undrafted free agent pool. I think that's the common one. I thought Yeboah was going to get drafted in the 5th or 6th round or 4th even. And for us to get him in the undrafted pool, especially when I heard 8 or 10 teams were in on Yeboah right after the 7th round, and the Jets are the one that got him. And I think the reason why is because Douglas and the Jets front office is probably like, hey, our tight end group sucks. So if you play well, you're a tight end 1. So that's probably how they got Yeboah on the roster. But Jack, what's your thoughts of Kenny Yeboah as an undrafted free agent, and do you think he has potential to make the roster?
Yeah, I mean, you just said it right there. The tight end room right now is not very good. I mean, I still feel like Chris Herndon can be productive. Hopefully, the Adam Gase effect is real for the New York Jets, like it was for players on Miami. Because I still do have hopes for Chris Herndon, but with Yeboah, I think that definitely he could certainly be making his way into starting lineup. Definitely, watching some film on him, he's a true pass catching tight end. Once he gets the ball in his hand, he's got size, speed, and strength. And I think that he is just going to be a great weapon for Zach Wilson, because in this offense, they're used to players like George Kittle and stuff like that. So we're definitely going to need production from our tight ends. I don't think we're going to find it with really anyone on the roster besides, like I said, maybe Chris Herndon, if he's still got anything left in the tank after Adam Gase is gone. But I think Yeboah is definitely going to be, just another playmaker. I can't believe that he didn't get drafted. Like you said, Rich, a lot of people thought he was going to, go not early in the draft, but definitely, not undrafted, maybe 5th or 6th round, something like that. I heard some people even saying like 4th round. They wouldn't have been mad if we took him in the 4th round. I saw that on Twitter from somebody. So the fact that Joe Douglas, just like you said, he probably said, yeah, our tight ends kind of stink. So come over to the Jets and, work your way into the starting lineup. It won't be that difficult for you. So I think it's just another really good piece to add for Zach Wilson. And, it just goes to show you that Joe Douglas has, more on his mind than just the draft. He was, making calls right away. And how many undrafted free agents did we sign already? Like 12 or something like that.
Insane.
So yeah, Joe Douglas's mind is just still constantly moving. I'm so excited to see where this team ends up this year. I'm already looking forward to the draft next year with these 2 firsts and 2 seconds. It kind of feels like we're building a crazy freaking team through the draft, which is what we know Joe Douglas's long-term vision has been for this organization. And I feel like with this draft, even though we had some great picks in last year's draft with Mekhi Becton and Mims, I think this draft really sets it in motion now to be a good team within the next few years. I definitely see 4 starters in the first 4 picks of the draft, like Greenbean mentioned before.
Yes, sir. I love it. So Byron gives us a super chat from Australia. Shout out to Byron. We appreciate that. Who do you think we need in free agency now? Let's go Jets. I appreciate the donation, man. Ali, I'll send this question over to you. Do you think that there's anybody available in free agency that the Jets should target? Because now we're entering the second phase of free agency that usually happens after the draft. So is there anybody that's available that you think the Jets should bring in?
Probably a corner. Probably Nelson or Richard Sherman. I think they just need veteran presence in there. Obviously for not maybe Nelson at starting purposes, but Sherman is more of a guy that can just lead the team. But I don't think he's gonna come to New York, especially at how old he is now. I think he just wants to go try to win a ring. But Nelson, if they can somehow pull that off, that would be pretty awesome for the Jets. But yeah, I think I think the Jets are good with what they have right now, man. I really do think that. I think first of all, about Chris Herndon, this is something that people were pretty much. I'm not getting on the hype train again about Chris Herndon. I am not getting that where Chris Herndon is gonna be elite. All this stuff. He was never gonna be elite. Scouts said that he was gonna be average at best as Chris Herndon in this league. And I'm not getting back on the bandwagon again with him. He can prove me wrong for sure, but I'm not falling for that again. I do think it's going to be open competition at tight end. And I do think Kenny Yeboah can come in and be a guy that just steps in and becomes our starting tight end if he was getting the fair opportunity, which I believe Salah will give him the fair opportunity for it. Another undrafted free agent I liked is Hamilcar Rashed, the edge rusher I think that was our first undrafted signing we had. Man, that guy has a motor. I don't know how he went undrafted, but he has a motor. He's all over in run plays. He's athletic. He's strong. He has flexibility. And he just has natural athleticism, which Salah loves. So I think he's going to be on this team. And then the last one is the kicker. Chris Nagar or whatever his name. I don't want to say it wrong, but Nagar or whatever his name is. I don't want to see Ficking trot out again. I really don't. I think Nagar, I think there was a video of him hitting a 70-yard field goal. And I think that's just sold me right there. There's going to be open competition at every single position. And all these undrafted rookies that they're bringing in, all these have a chance. All these have a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ali, do you know what that kicker's nickname is?
I have no idea what his nickname is.
The N-bomb. I'm dead serious because he boots the ball a mile.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
I think it's hysterical.
I can hear the t-shirts being made already. I mean,
oh God, I thought that was fantastic.
I think he can get the starting job. I really do, because I do not trust Ficken at all. He cost us way too many games in the past that I do not trust him anymore. And it's a new rookie guy. He's coming in. He has no pressure on him. Just bring him in. But yeah, I think the Jets are in a good spot right now.
So Matt, is there any undrafted free agents that we didn't mention that you guys want to talk about that you think has potential, or you want to talk about the ones that is Yeboah or Hamilcar? Is there anybody that stands out to you in this undrafted free agency class?
Yeah, I'm gonna name another one, and I agree with the guys you've listed so far, but Isaiah Dunn sticks out to me from Oregon State, and the reason for that is the Jets gave him the largest amount of guarantees for an undrafted free agent corner ever. So that tells you how high they are on this guy. And he has experience playing zone in college and athletic. I mean, this has been the theme of all show long. We've talked about every single guy they brought in. The number one thing is that they are a really good athlete. This guy ran a 4.36 40-yard dash. He's quick for a corner and has pretty good size too. So while I agree with you guys on the other ones listed, and I have a undrafted free agent video coming out tomorrow where I have 3 guys who I think are notable in this. But to me, Dunn has to make that list because of how much they were willing to give and how much they wanted that guy. So that tells you all you need to know in my eyes.
Yeah, awesome. Ryan, how about you? Anybody that we didn't mention, or you want to talk about someone we did mention in the undrafted free agent class?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about Yeboah. I'm excited about the kicker. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong. I don't know if I'm getting my wires crossed, but Yeboah, I think, also had a fairly large guarantee in his contract, like higher than, like, I don't know if it was higher than 6th round picks, but it was like a pretty substantial guarantee to bring in a few of these guys. So it just goes to show you just how active the Jets wanted to be to go out and get guys after the draft. And while we didn't have any 7th round picks, it's like, hey, we're coming out, we're coming to get you. We want you on this team. I'm excited for Yeboah. I think when we were going through this tail end of the draft, basically everything after the Michael Carter pick, the first Michael Carter pick, we were talking about how we needed, a tight end, a kicker, I guess we got a bunch of corners, but to have that be like, I want to say like 7:00 at night is when we found out about Yeboah. Like it was nice to see that, because that was a guy that a lot of us thought could go higher. And Greenbean was talking about it since, like, basically, I don't know if it was day 1, but day 2, he's like, keep an eye out for these tight ends. Bam, bam, bam. Yeboah, like, look out for him in the 4th round. So, like, I'm excited about it. Greenbean's the one that hyped me up on Yeboah more so than anything else. So I would say Yeboah and the kicker are the 2 guys that I'm most excited for.
Awesome. And last but not least, Greenbean. I'm excited. Oh, no. Greenbean.
Oh, that was perfect. That
I can't believe that.
You couldn't time that better.
Oh,
that timing was so amazing.
That is insane. He's back.
He's back.
Come on. Greenbean, you there?
Oh, I have to be the most annoying person in the world. If I was hanging out with me, I would have already stopped hanging out with me. I'm telling you.
No way. I need to hear your thoughts on Kenny Yeboah, and I was so excited to hear it, and then he left us. It was like the craziest timing ever.
I know. But
you're
yeah,
back.
so yeah, we gave Kenny Yeboah $180,000 guaranteed with a $20,000 signing bonus. And I couldn't be happier. Like you said before, Richie, if we would have taken him with the 4th round pick, I would have been ecstatic. The fact that we got him as an undrafted free agent is amazing to me. There's a few of the undrafted free agents I like, but one thing I'll say is 4 offensive tackles in the undrafted free agent class. 4. All of them over 6'4". So we brought in 4 monsters to help out the offensive line. There's one Teton Santos that I happen to like a whole bunch out of New Mexico. And I think that really supplements the fact that we only drafted 1 offensive lineman. We brought in 4, and at least one of them I'm fairly confident will make the roster. And that really helps. It shows where Joe Douglas, that he knows the board, man, that he knows what's going on. And again, 4 offensive tackles makes me feel a lot better about only taking 1 offensive lineman inside the draft.
Yeah, I'm happy that you brought up the offensive lineman because that's exactly what I was going to bring up. And the one player I want to talk about is Tristan Hogue. I think you say his last name. Is that how you say it? Hogue. And
Hogue.
that was a BYU offensive lineman who protected Zach Wilson. I think he was interior offensive line, if I'm not mistaken. But
Guard.
he is a guard. So the one thing about him that I researched, apparently he was supposed to go in the 3rd round with his teammate Christensen. Is that his name? The tackle from BYU. But he got injured, which made his value go down, and which is why he went undrafted. People thought that him and his teammate, the tackle from BYU, were both going to be, day 2 picks, but his injury, dropped him in the board. So obviously, Joe Douglas watches a lot of BYU tape. At least I hope. He definitely did. So Hogue is someone I think is going to have a potential out of those 4 offensive linemen we brought in to make the roster. I also love the kid from New Mexico. And we brought in a lot of guys, man, in undrafted free agency, 12. And we know last year that we saw Bryce Huff making an impact as an undrafted free agent. We saw Lawrence Cager get some playing time because we had so much injuries. Lamar Jackson, Jalen Guidry. So a lot of people underrate the undrafted free agent pool, and I'm happy that Joe Douglas just went all in. 12 different guys that he brought in. And I think that at least 3 or 4 of them will make the active roster and provide depth at some position. So the next segment I want to talk about is if you guys can say one player in the draft that's your favorite and you think is going to have the best career on the New York Jets. I think that's a good question. Obviously, there's a lot of players you can go from, whether it's early in the draft or late in the draft. How about we'll start with 2 questions. So out of the day 1 and day 2 guys, and then day 3 guys, since it's like there's so many guys to choose from. So Jack, who do you think is going to have the best career on the New York Jets from day 1 and 2, and then pick someone from day 3?
Day 1, 2, I'm gonna go with Elijah Moore. Honestly, when I first saw the pick live on TV, I was surprised. I definitely thought that we were going to go wide receiver in this draft, but I did not think it was going to be, that early in the draft. But the second we drafted him, and me and Richie started to watch highlights of the guy, I was completely blown away with his speed and his not just his speed, but his quickness and his explosiveness. In his routes. And I just think that he's a perfect chess piece for the offense. He could line up in the slot. He's good for, trick plays and things of that nature. And I think that he's just going to hopefully develop a nice chemistry with Zach Wilson. So, yeah, super, super high on Elijah Moore. The more I think about it, the more I love the pick, honestly. We definitely could have done some different things with that pick. But, that was a best player available type scenario. They're not thinking about just this year. They're thinking about the future because Jamison Crowder's gone after this year. So, I think Elijah Moore was a really safe pick, especially at 34. Tremendous value for Elijah Moore. So super high on that pick. As far as the day 2 picks go, I would probably say Nasruddin or Jamie and Sherwood. I think that Sherwood kind of is going to find his role more as a linebacker. I think, outside linebacker, he's somebody that could, cover a tight end, cover a running back very well. But he also has that size and that athleticism to come in and stuff the run and things of that nature. As far as Nasruddin goes, he's, the defensive chess piece. If Elijah Moore is the offensive chess piece, then Nasruddin's the defensive chess piece. I could picture him lining up in the box a ton. He could cover as a safety. He could get after the quarterback. And, once again, value, getting Nasruddin where we did in the draft because, he's coming off of an injury. I just feel very comfortable with those 2 picks on day 3, and I think that they can both find their way into the starting rotation of guys. And, I think they're both going to be productive for us, I hope.
Awesome. Ali, how about you, man? Who do you think out of the 3 players that we drafted on day 1 and day 2 will have the best career on the Jets, and then a player from day 3?
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to go Elijah Moore, too. I said that the last couple of lives, and I just love the guy, man. It's a steal that we got him at 34. Like Jack said, it's quickness. I can see him as a Debo Samuel of this offense. He's going to be used everywhere in the backfield. He's going to be doing a lot of motions. He's going to be all over the place. And he's going to be a big red zone target. I mean, he has in Ole Miss, he didn't drop one red zone target. He didn't. He's a red zone type guy, and that's what the Jets need because we were almost dead last in red zone last year. So last 2 seasons actually. So the Jets need guys that can score points, and then obviously Moore is crazy after the catch. He is absolutely insane. And that's what we need. That the Jets have so many different type of wide receivers now. Denzel Mims is not good with route running. That's what a lot of people said last year, and that's true. He's more of a guy that just goes on the field and catches those those deep catches, the throw up catches, and makes those in-game catches. The Jets need a guy that just catches the ball in space and can run for the first down, run for 20 yards and get the first down, do whatever they can. And obviously Corey Davis is going to be the play action god for us. So this wide receiver core just became a big upgrade from last year, and Moore is just another guy, that I've liked for a while. And the other one, I would say Duke cornerback Michael Carter, the second. And he's a guy that, he's versatile. Obviously, that's a word that we could use with all these draft picks in day 3, pretty much. And he can play safety, corner, nickel. He just wants to play whatever positioning they put him in. And especially with the Jets, we all know their injury situation. They've always had injuries, especially in the secondary. And having these type of chess pieces where if a cornerback goes down, he can be put there. If a safety goes down, he can be put there. And especially with Marcus May's situation, we don't know if he's going to come back next year. We don't know if if they're going to sign him by June, whatever the due date is for him. We don't know that. So if those guys can chip in and be pretty good and versatile, I'll be a little bit more confident if we move on from Marcus May. Obviously, Marcus May is a priority, but to have that leverage, to have someone waiting on the bench ready to go in, I think that's huge. And I think Michael Carter might be another starter for the Jets.
Awesome. There's a lot of players you can choose from. And Matt, how about you, man? Out of the day 1 and day 2 picks, who is your favorite and who do you think will have the best career? And then same with day 3.
Yeah, I'm shocked that no one said the number 2 overall pick yet in Zach Wilson. That would make
that was mine.
Yeah, that would make our life a lot easier if the quarterback hits, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's who I hope for sure.
Yeah, but I've been high on Zach Wilson for a very long time at this point, and I think he is a really good prospect. So I'll say him. And the Jets are putting him in a much, much, much better situation than they did with Sam Darnold, as we saw by adding 3 additional offensive pieces with the guard, the wide receiver, and the running back after that. So have to be excited about that. As far as with Wilson, the athletic plays, throwing from all different kinds of arm angles is super fun, and I hope that translates at the next level, and I think it can translate at the next level. As for day 2, I'm probably going to go Nasruddin. I'm really high on him. I think he could be the starting will linebacker for this team. He's athletic. He can play all over the field on this defense, and we know that Robert Saleh has developed a lot of late round guys in his defenses. You look at that San Francisco 49ers defense, when they had all their injuries in the secondary, these no-name guys were coming in and playing significant amount of playing time and playing really well with that time. And I think we could see that with Nasruddin as, again, really good value. I thought he'd go much earlier than what he did. So the fact that he was there for the Jets and they landed him, I think was already a steal. And I think he's someone who can play from day 1 and have a relatively high ceiling at that due to his athletic profile.
Awesome. I love it. Ryan, how about you, man? Who do you think is your favorite and who is going to have the best career out of the day 1 and day 2 picks and day 3?
I'm going Elijah Vera-Tucker. That was my favorite pick of the draft. I think it was the most needed. It was our most pressing need that we had going into free agency. So to not get Joe Thuney and then to be like, man, now we got to rely on, hopefully someone falls to 23 or we like Wyatt Davis at 34 or, whatever all of us were kind of saying, to go up and get your guy, best guard in the class. I think that was really important. I think he's going to have the best career just because if you don't hear his name, he's doing well. So it's, I don't know, kind of good that way. I think he provides a lot of value for us. Being able to play left tackle in the event that Becton goes down with an injury, like we saw a few times over the course of this past year, I think is incredibly crucial. It allows us a lot of flexibility on the offensive line. So that would be my day 1, day 2 pick. As far as day 3, I got to go with Nasir Al-Din. I think there's a lot of upside there. I think, what is he, like 6'4", just has a bunch of length. So I would say that's the one I'm most excited about. I do like the way we sort of approach this draft, where you get your 4 starters to start the draft, and then the positions of need, cornerback, linebacker. You take a big handful of darts and you throw them at the dartboard. You just hope one of these guys sticks. So I like the athleticism a lot of these guys bring in, but I think Nasir Al-Din has the highest percentage chance of being what we need in our linebacking core.
Awesome. Greenbean, how about you, man? Who's your favorite and who do you think is going to have the best career out of the day 1 and day 2 picks and day 3?
Well, it's funny that it was said, but I was thinking it better be Zach Wilson, man. That's all I know. If that doesn't happen, we're going to be in a big boatload of trouble. But I think I'm going to agree with Ryan. I think the pick that I liked the most, and and how aggressive we were to go and get him, is Elijah Vera-Tucker. Just the idea of having him next to Becton with McGovern there, we really have the potential to have a dominant offensive line, and those guys are going to play together for a while. Becton going into year 2, Vera-Tucker going into obviously his rookie year. These guys can be together for 5-6 years at many, 4 years minimum, but 5 years. And it's like, that excites me with all these moving pieces we've had on our offensive line over the past few years. It's maddening. And I just think the idea of that side of the line being like just wall for Zach Wilson makes me really, really psyched. That's the kind of football that I really like. Just nobody touches our quarterback kind of a thing. On day 3, I think, the Nasir Al-Din thing is really cool because he was like I was saying, Draft Tech had him as the top 5, the 5th overall safety. Draft Network had him as the 6th overall safety. So it's really exciting. But I think the guy that I'm most intrigued with is Michael Carter II. As a slot corner. He's one of those guys, as I start to learn more about him, the word on him is that he's like effort. He's the guy who plays bigger than his stature, and he always believes that he can do it. And that's the kind of guys that I really love to see succeed. And hey, it was a real position of need, with needing a nickel corner. So I'm really intrigued by Michael Carter II.
Awesome. And guys, if you guys did not smash that thumbs up button, make sure you do so. We got 120 likes with over 400 people in here. So the goal for the stream is to get over 200. If you guys are enjoying the stream, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Also, everyone's channels here on in the panel are down below in the description. If you're not subscribed to everybody, I don't know what you're doing. We got Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7 killing it. Matt O'Leary, Greenbean, and Ali and Jack has YouTube channels as well. So make sure you guys check those guys out. And to answer my own question, I'm definitely going to pick Zach Wilson because, like you guys mentioned, Matt and Greenbean, this better be the best player in the entire draft because if it's not, then we are screwed. And I did a lot of research on Zach Wilson leading up into the draft, and I did even more after we drafted him. And I think the most underrated aspect of Zach Wilson's game is his mobility, is his ability to run the football. And he had 15 total rushing touchdowns. And when he gets the ball with space, he can make guys miss with ease. And I didn't really know that was part of his game, to be honest, after I really dive deep into his highlights and his tape and see that his ability to make people miss in open field, he's not scared to get hit, even though I prefer him to, slide in the NFL because he has to avoid injuries, obviously. I definitely prefer him to go out of bounds and slide than taking big hits in the NFL. But it's something that I definitely feel like is an underrated aspect of Zach Wilson's game. And we're going into an NFL, everybody in the NFL, quarterbacks need to be dual threats. You need to be able to run if everything breaks down. If you can roll out of the right and nobody's open, can you pick up the first down with your legs? Can you get a touchdown with 5 yards out of the end zone? And I feel like Zach Wilson has that ability. And then to go over his arm talent, I feel like the system in place, we always talk about it. It's a quarterback-friendly offense, and I feel like that's going to benefit Zach Wilson the most. He has that freakishly, talented arm, so let's see if he can stay upright with this protection that Joe Douglas is building a wall in front of him with AVT and Mekhi Becton on the left side. We'll see how the interior holds up on the right side with George Fant as well on that right tackle position. So Zach Wilson, I'm hoping he has the best career out of anybody in this draft, because if he does, that means we are going to be a damn good football team. And when it comes to day 3, I don't even know. I mean, think about it. You know what? I'm going to pick a guy in Jonathan Marshall, right? I don't think he's going to have the best career out of all of them, but I'm going to give my thoughts
bold.
of, yeah.
Liar.
I'm going to give my thoughts of why I think, well, I'm going to try to think of how Joe Douglas's mindset was with Jonathan Marshall. I did a lot of research on him, and he's a freakishly athletic guy up the middle. And as we know, the defensive tackle position is not a position of need by any means. And I feel like, why not double down and get a guy in here to develop behind Quinnen, Rankins, and the beefy defensive line in front of us? Because the 6th round, what you're doing is trying to find guys that can develop over time and provide an impact in 2 or 3 years. Like Jonathan Marshall is going to do nothing this year unless we have crazy injuries. I think Jonathan Marshall is type of that future where they see a lot of potential in him, and he was misused in Arkansas apparently based on the research I saw. And I feel like he's a freakishly athletic guy that if he loses a lot of weight, he has explosiveness and he has quick hands and he has dominance in the interior defensive line. So this is not my favorite pick by any means, but I just want to talk about him because I did do my research on him, and I can see why the Jets picked him, just because you need to win on both sides of the line of scrimmage. And he brought in a guy that is going to be a part of the best position group on the entire team. So he's going to be learning behind Quinnen long-term, Sheldon Rankins, Foley Fatukasi, and all these guys. And we do have some pending free agents next year. So maybe he can provide depth in the future years and be a rotational piece in 2 to 3 years. You never know. I'm just trying to be optimistic. But yeah, the next thing I want to talk about is, out of the draft class last year, who do you think is going to have the biggest impact in 2021 in the sophomore season? Because Joe Douglas had 2 drafts last year and this year. So we saw his first draft go out there in the field. The rookie draft class included guys like Mekhi Becton, Denzel Mims, LaMichael Pirine, James Morgan, the sleeper of the draft. There's a lot of players that we brought in. So, Jack, out of anybody in that 2020 draft class, who do you think is going to be the most important part of the offense or defense with the brand new coaching staff in place?
I think Mekhi Becton is a very safe answer. Everybody, we all love Mekhi. But I really would like to see Denzel Mims used properly, unlike what we saw last year. I feel like with the small sample size that we did get from Denzel Mims last year, he was making a lot of plays that had us saying, "Wow, this guy's extremely talented." I think if he crisps up his route running a little bit, I think Denzel Mims has the potential to be an elite wide receiver 1 type. That might sound crazy to people, but he's that big-bodied, lengthy receiver who has incredible hands and is very good at catching contested balls that come his way. So I think that hopefully we can see Denzel Mims make the leap this year, because I think that especially with somebody like Moore and Michael Carter as our pretty much going to be our new running back 1. I feel like there's not really much competition for that at this point. I feel like the job is kind of his, barring anything insane happening. But I feel like Denzel Mims is primed and ready to really step up. I feel like Corey Davis is a good guy to kind of learn under at this point in his career. He's been at it for obviously a few more years than Denzel has. So I feel like, in this new offensive scheme, if Zach Wilson can stay on his feet, I feel like we're going to see flashes of greatness from Denzel Mims this year, because I was very upset. Obviously he was dealing with injury concerns, but definitely underutilized as a whole when he was on the field last year. So if we could see a leap from Denzel Mims, I'll be very happy.
I would love to see flashes of greatness from Denzel. He's probably someone that I was so upset that never got the opportunity to do anything last year because nobody was throwing him the ball, whether it was Sam or Gase. We don't really want to talk about anybody else but the rookies from last year, right? So, Ali, what's your thoughts of the 2020 draft class coming into year 2, and who do you think is going to have the best season?
Yeah, I'm on board with Denzel Mims as well, but the guy that I have in mind is Bryce Hall. He's probably the best corner in the last 8 games of the season. He he from coming off a really gruesome injury, he still produced like when he was out there. And obviously we got him as a steal in the 5th round. I didn't think obviously because of the injury, but I feel like he was a 2nd round talent cornerback. I really do. And you know, we're hoping. I know we're bringing a lot of competition at cornerback, and a lot of people that can play multiple positions. But I think Bryce Hall has a chance to be cornerback 1 or cornerback 2, because the flashes that he showed us is why people fell in love with him watching his college tape. He's explosive. He knows what to do. He's very focused, and his relentless work ethic is insane. And that's what I like about Bryce Hall, and that's what is the definition of a Robert Salah player. So I think he's gonna find the best out of him, especially when competition comes in. He's gonna be like, I need to push it another gear to get my cornerback position locked up. So I'm really excited to see Bryce Hall excel in Robert Salah's system.
Matt, who do you think is going to have the biggest year 2 from the 2020 draft class?
I'm going to go Denzel Mims. I say book him with over 800 receiving yards this year. I think he has a nice step forward. I don't want to go much higher because I think they're going to spread the ball around a lot. So I don't think we see an 1,000-yard receiver. But I just think in a more regular role. And he was banged up to start last year. And just for whatever reason, him and Sam Darnold just couldn't get on the same page down the stretch. And I feel like we were all screaming for Adam Gase to please just get him the football. But this year, I think they're going to do that some more. And I mean, he just has everything you want in that red zone threat receiver where you can just throw the ball up and he's going to go up there and get it 9 times out of 10. He's just a really, really good athlete. He has underrated speed. I feel like Ali mentioned it earlier, not the best route runner. But if you're looking for a legitimate red zone threat to help your young quarterback, what better than a Denzel Mims?
Yeah, I agree. Denzel Mims from Jack and Matt. Ryan, how about you, man? Who do you think is going to have the best season in year 2 from the 2020 draft class?
The one we want to have the best season, I think, is hands down Bryce Hall. Because if you can solidify the either cornerback 1 or cornerback 2, and you're only looking for one next year, I think that is incredibly important. Who do I think will have the best? Curveball answer, not offense, defense. It's going to be our boy Braden Mann.
Yeah.
Kicks. I want kicks inside the 20. I'm done with these punters these kick returners being able to return every punt on us. So I'm hoping we get a little bit further down the field. We can get some coffin corner kicks. Braden Mann's my answer.
I love that answer. Absolutely love it. Greenbean,
Do it.
how about you, man? Who is your pick in the 2020 draft class to have the best season for the New York Jets?
Well, I agree with every word said on Denzel Mims. I can't wait to see him used properly. I think the world of him. I also agree with everything said about Bryce Hall. I think he's absolutely a starting cornerback in this league. But I think the guy, and I'm really high on Zuniga and Huff and a lot of the last year's draft class. But I think the guy that is going to surprise most people and why we didn't take another interior offensive lineman, in the first 6 rounds, is because Cam Clark is going to lock down that guard spot and be our long-term starter at the position. And I think it, I believe it, and I can't wait to see it.
Awesome. I love that.
Wow.
Cameron Clark redshirted his year. So unfortunately, we have no tape to study in the NFL. So we're hoping that he can get in rhythm. Who knows why he did not go on the field last year, whether it's because he wasn't ready mentally or physically, or they just didn't have the opportunity to get him snaps. I know everybody on Twitter every week was like, Cam Clark time, put him in. Hello. Like when Mekhi Becton goes down and Cam Clark's active, throw him in there, Gase. And we never saw him once. So I'm going to try to pick someone that nobody mentioned. And my pick is going to be Ashton Davis. I think Ashton Davis had, a very underwhelming rookie season. He didn't wow us. He didn't go out there and look like the freakish athlete in the 3rd round that we thought he was going to be as a rookie. But with this new defense implemented, I think he's going to be in situational roles and provide that, speed in the back end of the secondary that we desperately need. I think that he has the ability to get coached. He has that track, record where he used to be a track star. So we know that he has instinctual speed and very good footwork. So if Rob Saleh and all the, the secondary coach and this coaching staff can get deep into Ashton Davis's brain and get him more disciplined when it comes to biting on cuts. Because, you know, I'm thinking off the back of my head last year when he got beat from Tyreek Hill deep. And I mean, who doesn't get beat from Tyreek Hill? So that was a good, learning curve for him. So I think if Ashton Davis can prove to be a guy that can provide depth at the safety position and come in at that nickel package role and even sub in at free safety at times, and, you know, he's very low-key good. I mean, if you look at his tape in Cal, he is a freak athlete. He can lay the boom. He's a freakishly fast. Maybe he shouldn't return kicks anymore after he tried that hurdle, but we don't need him to do that. We got Elijah Moore. We got some freak athlete that's going to be returning kicks and special teams. So my pick is Ashton Davis because I don't think he had the best rookie campaign, but that does not mean he cannot break out with this new coaching staff in place. So that's really it for the Jets media live stream with all of us talking about the 2021 draft class. This was a lot of fun having all you guys on here, getting a lot of different perspectives. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We weren't able to get, interactive with you guys in this chat because we got so many people on here trying to make sure everybody has enough time to talk. We got into the 2021 draft class, all 10 players. We talked about the undrafted free agents, what we liked, what we didn't like, our expectations for the 2020 draft class. Guys, if you guys enjoyed this episode, please do not forget to smash that thumbs up button. We are very close to hitting that 200 mark, so make sure you do so if you enjoyed. And please do not forget to subscribe to everybody's channels down below. And we're going to go around the table one last time. You guys can give your thoughts overall of your, feeling for the Jets' future. Maybe not even this year, but how you feel the Jets are positioning themselves with the brand new coaching staff from front office. And that's how we're going to end off the stream. Just a quick couple sentences and your feeling of the New York Jets' future. Jack, starting with you.
Yeah, for the first time in many years now, I feel a true sense of optimism when I think about this team and the direction that they're headed in. I think Robert Saleh is going to get the best out of all these young players that we have. And I think Joe Douglas has done a great job of building this roster through 2 seasons as a general manager. And I just couldn't be more excited to watch some Jets football this year, man. I think we're going to go out there and we're going to be for the first time in a while, we're going to be a fun offense to watch. And I'm just super excited for it. And, it's been a pleasure talking with you guys and can't wait to do it again. Go Jets.
Ali, anything you'd like to say before we end?
Yeah, it was awesome having you guys on. Ryan, Greenbean, Matt. It was awesome. I do think this team is 1 to 2 years away from competing. Right now, they're trying to do what San Francisco did, Ravens did. They're trying to build a foundation first before they're competing for big football games. And that it's going to be a process, obviously. It also depends on how Zach Wilson performs. Is it going to be ahead of schedule or is he going to take his time to get there? But all the pieces are getting into place slowly for the Jets, and that's what the positives should be for the Jets. It looks like a bright future. It looks like the right guys are in the kingdom right now in Florham Park. Joe Douglas and at helm, Robert Saleh as a coach, and then we got LaFleur there. So we have a lot of bright new talent coming, especially in the coaching staff and the player staffs. I mean, everywhere. So it's exciting times right now.
Matt, anything you'd like to say before we sign off?
Yeah, super excited about the direction of this team. I am thrilled with this draft class. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team this year, but I think the expectation going into 2020 with another huge draft class with multiple picks in the first 2 rounds, I think the expectation should be playoffs by 2022. So I'm excited to see. And my bold prediction for this year is the Jets will have a top 20 offense for the first time since 2015.
Top 20. I love it. Okay. Ryan, how about you, man? Anything you'd like to say before we sign off?
Yeah, dude, I am so thankful for you to have us on. It's been a lot of fun. I think as far as our team goes, I think this is the first time in a long time that I feel like we have the right leadership in place from GM to head coach to all the coaching staff. I think we finally have a quarterback that we're going to surround with talent. You have not even just like on the field, but you have a head coach that's bought into both sides of the ball. You have an offensive coordinator. You have a quarterback coach. You have a passing game coordinator. So I think overall, I'm just happy with the infrastructure that's in place for this new young quarterback. And I think I'm pretty excited for where this team's going to be in a year from now.
Awesome. Greenbean, anything you would like to say before we end the stream tonight?
Yeah, I really love any time that I can spend with you guys, and I appreciate you having me on. And what I'm looking for, man, and I'm really excited, is our offensive line. It's been the scourge of our existence for the past few years. And I think our offensive line coach is one of the most respected offensive line coaches in the NFL. And I think by the end of the year, we're going to be looking at a top 10 O-line. And what better situation for a young quarterback who sexily drinks water like Zach Wilson does.
I love it. Guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in to the Jets Media live stream with our special guest, Matt O'Leary. Jets Talk 24/7, Greenbean, Ali, and Jack. I am very optimistic about this New York Jets future. It's very refreshing that we got new people in the building from top to bottom. We got a brand new quarterback, brand new coaching staff, relatively new GM. We even now got Woody Johnson back, which feels crazy because that's new. So yeah, guys, I appreciate all you guys showing support here on Jets Media and, of course, the support on all of our channels. Please, if you guys are not subscribed to all of our gentlemen in the panel today, make sure you go do that right now. Subscribe to Matt, subscribe to Greenbean, subscribe to Ryan, Ali, and Jack. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you guys. And do not forget to smash that thumbs up button on your way out. Let's go Jets, and we'll catch you guys in the next stream. Peace.
Let's go Jets.